Michael's family immediately rallied around him and called their own press conference to show their support. They were adamant that the allegations were nothing more than a cruel and obvious attempt to take advantage of Michael's fame and wealth. Their belief was backed up by a taped telephone conversation in which the child in question's father declared his intention to win big time and destroy Michael. Katherine Jackson in particular was unequivocal in her support of her son.
I'd like to let the world know that I'm behind my son. I don't believe any of this stuff that's being written about him because I raised him and I know him, and that's just a statement people are making.
However, not everyone in the Jackson family got behind Michael. His older sister, LaToya, whom he'd neither seen nor spoken to for years, decided to open up to the press. Estranged from the rest of the family since marrying her manager, Jack Gordon, and publishing her autobiography, LaToya held a press conference in Israel and made this shocking statement.
Well, I must tell you that this is very difficult for me, that Michael is my brother. I love him a great deal, but I cannot and I will not be a silent collaborator of his crimes against small, innocent children. And if I remain silent, then that means that I feel the guilt and the humiliation that these children are feeling, and I think it's very wrong.
LaToya later retracted the statement, claiming her abusive husband had forced her to make the claims for financial gain, but the damage had been done. Putting on a brave face for fans, Michael performed in front of a crowd of 47,000 fans on his 35th birthday on the 29th of August. But behind the scenes, he was fighting chronic pain from an accident he'd sustained while on tour, and was so stressed out by the investigation and accompanying press invasion that there were claims he was becoming addicted to painkillers and sedatives. The next night, moments before going on stage in Singapore, Michael collapsed, and to the disappointment of tens of thousands of fans, was forced to cancel the show. The next day, he was taken to hospital to undergo a brain scan.
It appears that Mr. Jackson has been suffering recently from an acute vascular headaches, which unfortunately, due to the severity this evening, caused the cancellation of tonight's performance.
I was suddenly taken ill last night, and I am sorry for the cancellation of my performance, and I apologize for any inconvenience it might have caused my fans in Singapore. I look forward to seeing you at the stadium tomorrow. Thank you for your continued support and understanding. I love you all. Thank you.
Michael's one source of consolation throughout the ordeal was his romance with Elvis Presley's daughter, Lisa Marie. Understanding the pressures of living under the intense glare of the media spotlight, Lisa Marie became his confidant and source of emotional support. During their many conversations over the phone, she ended up falling for him, and they were married in the Dominican Republic in May 1994. Lisa Marie has since revealed that during the marriage, a troubled Michael confessed his fears that he might come to the same tragic end as her father. And after 20 months together, the gulf between the lovers had grown too wide. While Michael had been desperate to start a family, Lisa Marie already had 2 young children from her first marriage to Danny Keough and didn't want any more. On January 18, 1996, her divorce from Michael was finalized, although they would remain friends for the rest of his life. However, the disturbances in Michael's private life hadn't distracted him from his first love, making music. On June 15, 1995, he released the biggest collection of his career. The double album, History, Past, Present, and Future, Book 1, contained 15 former hits and 15 new tracks and would become the biggest-selling multiple-disc album of all time, with sales of 20 million worldwide. The lead single was a duet with his baby sister, Janet. Scream hit back at the tabloid coverage of the 1993 child sexual abuse accusations aimed at him, and the record-breaking $7 million video to the song won him a Grammy Award. Despite all the negative media attention of the past few years, his fans remained as devoted as ever, sending the album's second single, You're Not Alone, straight into the Guinness Book of World Records, for becoming the first single ever to debut at the top of the Billboard charts. Over in Britain, it remained at #1 for 6 straight weeks and became his biggest-selling single ever in the UK. The stage was set for another history-making television appearance. But during rehearsals for the HBO special at the Beacon Theatre in New York, Michael suddenly collapsed and was taken to Beth Israel Hospital on the Upper East Side. Arriving semi-conscious and dehydrated, doctors worked to stabilize his condition as his mother rushed to his side.
On that type of call, it gets a high priority response. It's a very serious call. Luckily, we found someone who was breathing, who was conscious, and we treated him for his symptoms.
What were the symptoms?
As I said, there was some dehydration, some low blood pressure, nothing that appeared to be life-threatening. He was treated by EMTs and paramedics and brought to the hospital of his choice.
Mr. Jackson is conscious. He has expressed sincere gratitude for all the nurses, physicians, and other members of the Beth Israel staff, as well as, of course, the incredible outpouring of love from his fans throughout the world.
5 days later, those fans were still maintaining their vigil as Janet emerged from the hospital. After being diagnosed and cleared of a viral infection, their hero greeted them with smiles and waves before disappearing into the waiting van. After Michael's divorce from Lisa Marie, he turned to dermatology nurse Deborah Rowe to fulfill his dream of having children. When they married in Sydney in November 1996, during the Australian leg of his history tour, she was already pregnant with little Prince Michael I. On April 3, 1998, he was joined by a baby sister called Paris. A father at last, Michael was determined to protect his children from the press. Then, in October 1999, came the news that he and Debbie were getting divorced and that Michael would retain sole custody of their 2 children. Despite being a single father of 2, he stepped up his already demanding schedule of charity work and broke yet another Guinness World Record. His involvement with a staggering 39 charities far eclipsed the philanthropic efforts of any other celebrity or entertainer. At public appearances and charity events, he was tireless in seeking out those less fortunate than himself. Whether pausing to give out a hug or simply waving and smiling to his fans, he always took the time to acknowledge their devotion. One charity among the many he publicly supported was the AIDS Foundation created by great friend and fellow former child star Elizabeth Taylor.